What's up, Taiwan? I'm Brossard with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. President Tsai has commended Taiwan's Air Force for remaining alert and protecting the skies amid continued military pressure from China. She made the comments at a military base in the country's northern Hsinchu County, where the Air Force is wrapping up its latest drills. Tsai inspected a number of bases in the area on Friday. She reminded the country's armed forces to remain steadfast in the face of an increasingly aggressive Beijing.
我也要重申，台海跟区域的和平稳定是两岸共同的责任，也是国际社会的共同的期待。面对中国的军事威胁，我们的立场很清楚，我们不会升高冲突。 也不会挑起争端，但我们会坚定地捍卫主权和国家的安全，坚守民主自由的阵线。
Japanese Prime Minister Kishida-Fumio has landed in Washington for talks with U.S. President Joe Biden. This is Kishida's last stop on his tour of leading industrialized countries prior to the G7 summit in May. Before he traveled to the U.S., the Japanese PM met with his Canadian counterpart in Ottawa and signed a new defense pact with the UK. Kishida's visit to the U.S. comes as Washington looks to strengthen its alliance with Japan, one of its key allies in the Indo-Pacific region. Earlier this week, the U.S. announced plans to restructure its military forces in Japan's Okinawa Islands. Japan has also announced a big raise in its own defense spending. For more on Kishida's visit to the United States, our reporter Stash Butler spoke to security analyst Eleanor Shiori-Hughes.
What are Biden and Kishida expected to talk about at these, their meeting?
I think that the bulk of the summit, tomorrow's summit, will be focused on security and defense issues in the Indo-Pacific, but not exclusively. They will also talk about economic challenges. Prime Minister Kishida will probably extend a hand to, perhaps see if the United States could once again rejoin CPTPP, which is something I know that Japan is eager for the U.S. to do. But at the moment, I don't think that the United States has enough political stamina to do such things. And then finally, in terms of Ukraine, the United States will probably ask Japan to continue providing support on a humanitarian level and in regards to energy when it comes to the war in Ukraine.
Where does Taiwan fit into all of this, into these discussions? And when it comes to deterring an attack on Taiwan by China, do you think that the US and Japan are doing enough?
I think it's way too early to say at the moment if the United States and Japan collectively are doing enough. It will take years before Japan is able to actually receive weapons that will enable Japan on its own to deter against any sort of aggression, whether it be China, Russia, or North Korea, because the stuff that Japan is aiming to do in terms of defense reforms, it's not just in preparation for a possible contingency in Taiwan. Japan recognizes that it has a host of neighbors that are already being provocative within the neighborhood, and in some cases, in a more globalized context, what's going on in the Taiwan Strait area is not just a regional issue, but it's become a global issue. And that is something that Japan has emphasized as of late. And I believe that's something that Prime Minister Kishida will continue to emphasize throughout his time while carrying the G7 chairmanship.
That was security analyst Eleanor Shiori-Hughes speaking to TaiwanPlus reporter Stash Butler. A major highway in eastern Taiwan is set to reopen on Sunday after a rock slide earlier in the week. Landslides like this aren't unusual in this rugged part of the island, and one lawmaker thinks the government hasn't done enough to ensure that the road is safe. John Van Trieste has more.
1,200 cubic meters of rock. That's how much these excavators have to work through. They're racing to clear the Suhua Highway, the artery that links the east of Taiwan to the rest of the country. It's been blocked since a landslide Wednesday. Work crews say the road should reopen on Sunday, but the closure may still have an impact on the economy of the eastern region, a scenic area and popular tourist spot.
目前来说，其实取消的或者是延期的比例不到5%，但最后我们认为影响的应该会在20%到30%。
The incident has highlighted the region's dependence on the highway and its vulnerability to landslides. And it comes just before the Lunar New Year, the busiest travel season of the year.
看看我们全台湾本岛，就是有花莲、台东没有快速道路，没有高速公路。
The government has spent years improving the Suhua Highway. It finished a series of major works in 2020 that nearly halved travel times. But some think this doesn't go far enough. They say a program to improve safety that includes shoring up mountain slopes along the route has stalled.
6、7年来完全没有任何动静，我们到现在还没有看到时期跟日程，只看到口号。什么时候要给花莲台东人安全回家的路？
Though Taiwan's transport minister disagrees and says the project should be done by 2032.
我们现在就是全力把这一个说案赶快让它完成。现在已经重要规划完成现在我们在审了，然后环评也同步在进行。短期就是继续在电波再做一些强化。
It seems that even after road traffic on the highway resumes, the issue of how to keep this critical link open is set to remain a source of political friction. Howard Zhang and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's legislature on Thursday passed a slew of restrictions on smoking, which apply to both tobacco products and e-cigarettes. The new law bans the manufacture, import, sale, or advertising of e-cigarettes and raises the legal smoking age from 18 to 20. Flavored tobacco products will also be banned, and tobacco products packaging will need more warnings. Violators of Taiwan's Tobacco Hazards Prevention Act will also face increased fines. The government has announced that some foreign nationals living in Taiwan will be eligible for a handout of nearly $200. The cabinet on Thursday said foreign nationals with permanent residency, diplomats, and spouses of Taiwanese would be eligible for the one-time cash payments. Foreigners with temporary residency and migrant workers are excluded. The cash handout comes after the government took in significantly more tax than it originally budgeted for. Officials say the money will help people amid a slowing local economy. And a local motorcycle group has carried a traditional deity to more than 10 temples around Taiwan this year. They hope it will bring good luck to the country. They started touring the third prince around Taiwan after the outbreak of the COVID pandemic, and they haven't slowed down. Sandy Chi has their story.
A motorbike out for a spin in Taiwan, a very common sight. But look closely and you'll spot an unconventional passenger. Yes, that's a deity known as the third prince wearing sunglasses sitting at the back. The third prince is one of the many gods of traditional Chinese folklore. His particular power is the ability to offer protection to the devoted. So he was a natural choice for the Taiwan Jiutian Harley-Davidson group to turn to when the COVID-19 pandemic began in 2020. And so they did. As time went on, the size of the procession kept growing. This year, 12 motorbikes and 5 statues of the deity joined the ride.
疫情肆虐，对不对？这个许团长的号召，我们一起来为台湾祈福。我觉得这是一个很有意义的事。
And as the bikers' leader explains, such processions have a long history in Taiwan, even if the addition of motorbikes is a new twist.
也是台湾人非常喜欢的一种活动，所以说我们就用这个方式变成就是一个哈雷中年大叔进香团，这样蛮嗨的，而且沿路都人家一直在拍照。
It may not be like what you imagine when you think of a religious procession, but this group of bikers is happy to defy expectations. With any luck, their prayers will be answered, and Taiwan can look forward to a peaceful year ahead. Aznaya Zhou, Irene Wu, and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images of Minghua Yuan Arts and Cultural Group from Taiwan performing a classical Taiwanese opera. I'm Philip Brossard. Take care and see you next time.